Welcome to episode 8 of Walking Wisdom with me, Dr. Aman Bhonsle. And today we're going to be talking about something that I've been wanting to speak about. I've been itching to speak about it for like the longest time. We're going to talk about the obsession that the world of psychology, coaching, and self-help has developed with the idea of positivity and how misunderstood this word is and how it's usually just something thrown around, by so many people without even understanding what it means. Everyone's saying to you things like, be positive, feel the positivity, the universe will reward those who feel positive, attract positivity. And here I am thinking, wait a minute, really? This is now being referred to as toxic positivity culture in our circles. And it's very important to investigate and explain to you guys so that if you are at the receiving end of someone who's asking you to be positive, this is how you deal with it and understand it a little bit better. I had this client the other day whose husband keeps asking her to be positive, be grateful for what we have, as a way to escape his responsibilities in having to address the fact that he cheated on her, escaping his responsibilities to address the fact that he's been making her sleep in a completely different room and has been disrespecting her in general and, being extremely dismissive of her emotions in the relationship, being extremely dismissive of the fact that she has a need to be recognized, to be loved, cared for, looked at, and acknowledged. So toxic positivity is trying to force someone to be in a positive state of mind in order to alleviate one's discomfort, in order to absolve oneself of the responsibilities one has in making that relationship feel secure and feel guarded and feel acknowledged. Toxic positivity is also this tendency to be dismissive of your own emotions, calling them bad emotions, negative emotions, unnecessary emotions, or being too emotional. I don't understand what that means. What the hell do you mean being too emotional? Those emotions have been given to you for a reason. Every human being, regardless of what skin color they have or what kind of shoes they wear, feel emotions. Whether you want to acknowledge those emotions is your choice. Whether you want to ignore them or pretend they don't exist, that's your choice too. So please stop trying to force yourself to be positive, because then that's toxic positivity, because life will throw you challenges. Things stack up. Things often don't line up. Things sometimes are out of balance, and that's just how life is. People won't recognize you for what you've done. People will blame you for something you've not done because you don't want to do it in the first place. Often people will try to benchmark everything you've done based on their private and subjective renditions of what an orderly life timetable looks like. But one way or the other, people find a way to often punish you for being yourself. And that sucks, doesn't it? So instead of trying to force yourself to feel positive, be positive, and always look perfect, sound perfect, be perfect, understand one thing, man. You're as human as the rest of us, so there's no way you're going to escape the diabolical reality that no one really gives a damn about what you are going through. Only you care about the journey that you have been through. Your investment in your journey is absolute and without pretentiousness. And people aren't going to share that enthusiasm. No one really cares if you've had a divorce. No one cares if you have lost your job. And that's just the unfortunate truth. No one really cares. A lot of people will pretend to care and say, be positive, be goddamn positive. Why? Because if they didn't pretend to care, that would make them look selfish. And that may make them look bad. So it's a public relations crisis that they're more worried about rather than the crisis that you are dealing with. And that's just the absolute and bare truth. Not everyone's going to be happy when you're happy. Not everyone's going to be sad when you're sad. But often people are going to pretend like they're interested because a little bit of gossip and a little bit of storytelling goes a long way in alleviating their boredom. And then just what we are. Sideshow attraction for a lot of people who say they're there, who say they care, but actually, nope, they just stare. That's all they do, because they want to put you under scrutiny, under their microscope, to see how well is he or she doing compared to me? How well is he or she doing as compared to someone I care about? So there's this little competition that they're running in their minds. Oh, let me see how much trouble this person can really get into. so that I can index my life better and feel good and say, at least I'm not in that kind of trouble. At least I maintain my leverage or superiority over this person. This is just how interpersonal dynamics work. There's a constant need for comparison, but that's not a burden you need to carry. A lot of these self-help gurus will wear their perfect business suits with expensive watches and sit at the Maldives or in the lobbies of expensive restaurants and five-star hotels and tell you how to be positive about life. And they're good-looking people with the perfect BMI, with the perfectly color-matched wardrobe that also syncs perfectly with their background. And then these people are telling you, okay, do this, do that, live like this, live like that. And you begin to wonder, hey, isn't it a lot easier for you because you got all this sorted out? Maybe there's a certain aspirational quality to being in good clothes, being in a good state of mind. I get that. I respect that. But what I believe in is that life is scrappy, life is messy, and life is often unrelenting, unforgiving. And it's constantly on the move. It's constantly on the move, whether you decide to sit around and weep, or as I say, go deep and try to figure out what went wrong, what usually goes wrong, what could possibly go wrong. So that's called being extremely realistic and practical. That's not called being positive, all right? So please never, ever, ever confuse the two. But what I don't understand is how can you, in your perfect clothes, in your perfect library, in your perfect life, having your perfect brunches, be the authority on being positive and grateful when all that you seem to have going for you is stuff that looks good, stuff that feels good. The underbelly of life is strange. It's random. It picks its victims without bias. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know if you're going to suddenly get cancer. You don't know if there's going to be a life-threatening situation that comes and stares you right here, right at the face. We don't know these things. We can't predict these things. And as prepared as we are, often that's not good enough, is it? In life, a lot of things that you do will not look that good. A lot of things that you wear will not look that great. A lot of experiences that you have don't make for good stories. So a lot of life is not glamorous. So I understand that there's an aspirational quality to having a good life. But a lot of people may not ever get that good life, so-called good life, the big cars, the five-star hotels, the brunches, the international travel. So does that mean that these people don't deserve happiness, don't deserve to be satisfied, and that they have to be forced to be positive while they look at these rich self-help gurus talk about how to be positive and grateful? That's a question for you to answer for yourself. Be positive, be goddamn positive. They're always saying that. And it's so annoying, especially when you know so much more is happening beneath the surface in your life. There's a crisis you're dealing with. There's emotional, material, social, spiritual, existential crisis that you may be going through, whatever category it fits. It's your pain, it's your suffering, it's the load you bear. And sometimes it's not even possible or easy to explain to someone else what you have gone through. And that's understandable. One of my friend's wives made a comment saying, why is he in his gunji and talking about all these things? What do you want me to do? Wear a business suit and make things look good that don't exactly sound good? That's not going to happen, man. That's difficult and challenging. So here I am in a skeleton gunji. He's got something going through his eye. And because that's a visual metaphor for life, right? Sometimes things just poke you. Sometimes things just provoke you. Sometimes things stoke you. You get excited. Then you say, all right, I'm excited about something else now. That's life, all right? It's full of transitions. It's full of transactions. But most importantly, what are you taking out of it? What are you extracting from all these situations and people and these unfortunate situations? Are you forcing yourself to be positive, or are you forcing yourself... Wait a minute, what the hell's happening here? Transition time. Transition time. Feel your emotions without becoming your emotions. Experience your thoughts without being slaves to your thoughts. And that's usually, I think, a smart way forward. So you don't force yourself to be positive when you feel like you don't exactly want to be positive, because the situation in your life is difficult, it's ugly, and you never expected it. So you can't be positive, and that's all right. You will meander around a little bit, get lost, but one way or the other, if you want to find your way back, you're the only person who can do that for yourself. Or seek help, come to a counselor, someone you can relate with and trust, and someone who doesn't speak to you like a textbook, doesn't read out stuff to you that they learned while they were studying psychotherapy. We are talking about human beings and human emotions. So the next time someone tells you be positive, you have a choice. You can choose to ignore them, or you can choose to entertain that thought, and then you have what we call a secondary emotional problem, which is an emotional response to an emotion. You feel guilt about your sadness, you feel anger about your misery, you feel shame about your grief, which is unnecessary because every emotion is here to educate you and to orient you. But never let it become the boss. Stay away from toxic positivity culture, because that's going to make you feel strange and like less of a person every time you have a real emotion. So try the practical, rational, realistic, agile and dignified approach the next time, which is to be authentic, but at the same time make your assessments, keep them private. For the love of God, don't go about making your personal assessments of other people public on social media. I think we spend a lot of time on our phones and a lot less time in our minds. Mind's a crazy place. We don't understand it often. So I think it's a worthwhile effort to try to understand how your mind works, how your emotions work. And for that, if you require help, seek it instead of trying to force yourself to be positive. You often won't feel good about a lot of things that are happening in your life, and that's normal. You often won't feel certain about a certain step you're about to take, and that's normal. You often will feel like there are many conflicting points of view that are being juxtaposed on you, and that's leading to its own confusion, and that's normal too. You don't have to force yourself to be positive through these situations. The uncertainty you experience, the lack of surety in your abilities that you experience, these are all part of what I refer to as growing pains. So take the time, think about these things, access every opportunity for knowledge and grow. And then just go ahead, forge ahead. Whatever you do, twirl your mustache and make it count. And that's it from me today. Take care, keep it real, and stop forcing yourself to be positive. Be realistic, be honest, be authentic, be yourself, and most importantly, be open to whatever the possibilities entail. Bye.